Welcome student. Today we are going to learn about the next hormone, abscisic acid. So already we have finished about the ethylene hormone as well as auxin, cytokinin, gibberellin. All these hormones we have studied. Today we are going to learn about abscisic acid, my dear students. So what is this abscisic acid? During mid 1960, it was reported three kinds of inhibitors. This is three kinds of inhibitor. Inhibitor B, abscissin 2 and dormine. These are the three forms of abscisic acid. Abscisic acid is having how many forms? Three forms. Inhibitor B, abscissin 2 and dormine. They are chemically identical and known as abscisic acids. All are chemically identical to each other and they are known as abscisic acids. And remember, ABA is a derivative of hormone called chemical called carotenoids. Carotenoids are the pigments, plant pigment. Of that derivative is which hormone? That is abscisic acid. Carotenoid derivative is the abscisic acid. Okay. Now, it regulates the abscission and dormancy. It regulates the abscission and dormancy means what? Abscission means leaves falling process as well as seed dormancy. Seed fail to germinate in that particular phase, that is the resting phase of the seed. In that seed dormancy and abscission process, it regulates. It promotes the abscission. That means leaf falling process it will promote. See, these are the fallen leaves here given. These fallen leaves because of the presence of abscisic acid. The seed will undergo, seed never germinate in certain stage, that is called seed resting period or seed dormancy is carried out by hormone called abscisic acid. Okay. Abscission and dormancy. It has wide range of effects on plant growth and development. Abscisic acid is having wide range of effect on plant growth and developments. Okay. So what are the different roles of the hormone called abscisic acid? We have to learn here. In the plants, it acts as an inhibitor of plant growth and metabolism. That means it is not a growth promoter, it is a growth stopping hormone. Plant growth it will stops and many metabolic process like photosynthesis process it will stops. That's why it is a growth inhibitor hormone. It inhibits the seed germination. Remember, it never allowed to seed to undergo germination. It stops seed germination process. See, this is the germinated seed. So what the abscisic acid stops seed germination. So seed germination it will stop, that's why it is a growth inhibitor. It stimulates the closure of stomata in the epidermis. So you know that stomata close generally in which time? Night time in plant. And open during which time? Daytime. Why this stomata is closing? This is a closed state of the stomata. Closed stomata. This is a B diagram which is closed stomata, A diagram that is open stomata. So stomata closure, for that which hormone will help? ABA hormone will help. Abscisic acid will help for the closure of stomata during night time. Why? Because this abscisic acid, it is make the permeability, change the permeability of the guard cell, permeability for the guard cell. So for which ion entry inside? So H plus entry inside and K plus entry outside. For that, ABA hormone in night time it allowed to enter H plus inside and K plus outside. So which hormone making permeability of this guard cell? ABA hormone making. When H plus enter inside the guard cell, remember, stomata will undergo closure. and K plus goes out, stomata close. So this permeability is changed by which hormone? ABA. When this KH plus goes inside in the stomatal guard cell, stomata will undergo closing state because of the ABA, which is having role to change the permeability of this guard cell during night time. That's why the function is to stimulate the closure of stomata. It increases the tolerance of plant to various kinds of stress. That's why it is called stress hormone. You know, in environment there are water stress is there. In environment there is a cold stress is there. If any water is less, that time stomata should have to close. If stomata close, then water loss from the plant will get reduced. So, ABA hormone what will do? Increases the tolerance of the plant to survive even in less water. Even in less water, plant can survive. That tolerance or less water tolerance capacity is a drought tolerance. We can say it is the water deficient stress. To that, plant will get the even that less water plant can survive. This survival is provided by which hormone? ABA hormone. Even water stress area, the plant can survive. How? ABA closes the stomata. When stomata close, there is no water loss. If there is no water loss, then remember the plant can survive even in less water because ABA enhancing its less water survival capacity. That is a stress condition. It has an important role in seed development, maturation and dormancy. Seed development process, seed maturation, that means from seed, there is a seedling development called seed maturation, new plant development, seed maturation, and seed resting period, that means seed failed to germinate, that is called dormancy. So, seed dormancy induction, seed maturation and seed development process, the role of which hormone is having? The abscisic acid is having. Seed dormancy, ABA helps to withstand desiccation and other factors for unfavorable growth. Unfavorable for growth. ABA withstand to desiccation means what? It prevents the seed from undergo desiccation process, from destroying process. There are various unfavorable factors against that ABA make the seed to stand against that unfavorable factors and make the seed dormant. Certain environmental, certain factors inside the seed that never allow to seed to undergo germinate, that factor is responsible for seed dormancy. Remember, EB is one of the factor which is responsible for dormancy of the seed. And it will helps to withstand the other factors unfavorable for growth. That means for the growth of the seed, there are also other factors which are not favorable. Against that, EB helps to withstand the seed. Some factors inside the seed like various internal factors which never allow to germinate the seed, against that factor ABA will help to withstand that factor and induces period of dormancy. Okay. That means an important role AB is having seed dormancy process. Seed dormancy it will induce, remember it will induce the seed dormancy. How? AB helps to withstand desiccation and other unfavorable factor for the growth. Against the desiccation and against the unfavorable factor, ABA helps to withstand the seed. Okay, next point. So, how these plant growth hormones are interact with each other, that we have to study. Interaction of plant growth hormones. See here, PGR play an individualistic or synergistic role. That means even this individually can play the role or they can combinedly play the role. Such role may be complementary or antagonistic. That means Similar role or opposite role these hormones can play. So PGR interact to affect seed dormancy in seed, bud, abscission, flowering, vernalization, apical dominance, seed dormancy, plant movements. In most of the cases, ABA acts as an antagonistic to GA. That means ABA hormone is opposite to growth, that is a gibberellinic acid hormone. Okay. So what is the meaning of this? Remember here, the PGR play an individual role. That means individual hormone can play the role, or it is combined with any other hormone, or it is same effect two hormone is giving, or opposite effect two hormones are giving. That is antagonistic effect, we can say it is. Remember, PGR affect dormancy in seed. What is the function of seed? PGR affect dormancy in seed. PGR interact with the event. Number of events happen in the plant, and PGR interact with these events. That means dormancy in the seed, it will act. Seed dormancy, bud dormancy, abscission. Abscission means falling of the leaves. Flowering, senescence process. Vernalization means what we can study next point. Apical dominance we have studied in the Augenes. Seed germination, plant movements like hydrotropic movement, phototropic movements. That all these movements are regulated by PGR hormone. Plant movements also. So shoot is moving towards the light, phototropic movement. Root is moving towards the gravity, geotropic movements. And root is also moving towards the water source, that is hydrotropic movements. These tropic movements in the plants is regulated by hormone called as PGRs, plant growth hormone. These are the various roles of the PGR in the plant growth. Okay, next. In most of the cases, ABA acts opposite to GA. That means opposite to gibberellinic acid. So certain factors influencing the action of PGR. Which are the factors influencing the action of PGR in the plant? Intrinsic factors means DNA, RNA. These factors are responsible for action of PGR in the plants. Genomic factors, these are called intrinsic factors, we can say. And extrinsic factors, which are those light, temperature plays a very, very important role for the growth, control of growth and development via PGR. Remember, many extrinsic factors, light is also important along with the PGR. Temperature is also responsible for the growth and development of the plant along with PGR. So remember what I am telling you, that is, many extrinsic factors such as temperature, light control the growth and development of the plant. Remember, many extrinsic factors in the plants control the growth and development. Control growth and development. Growth and development. Extrinsic factors via PGR. Via PGR. That means if PGR has to function, PGR ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಲೈಟು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಲೈಟ್ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫೋಟೋಸಿಂಥೆಸಿಸ್ ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಎನ್ಸೈಮ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಲೋ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಇರಬಾರ್ದು, ಹೈ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಇರಬಾರ್ದು. ಸೊ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರು ಈ PGR ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇದಾವೆ, ಲೈಟು ಈ PGR ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇದಾವೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಮತ್ತು ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ PGR ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಅದ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ DNA, RNA ರೋಲ್, ಜಿನೋಮಿಕ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಬಹಳ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ತವೆ. ಅದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ತಾವ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲೈಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್. ಇದು ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಎದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಇರ್ತವೆ PGR ಜೊತೆಗೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ PGR ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಆಗಿ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಗೆ ಲೈಟ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಬೇಕು, ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಆಗಿ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಗೆ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಬೇಕು. ಇವೆರಡು ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ಈ ಪಿಜಿಆರ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಆಗಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, so now we have to study how light will affect the flowering in the plants. That is the concept we have to study. What is the name of that? Photoperiodism. Photoperiodism. So what is meant by photoperiodism? Photoperiodism means it is a response of plants to day and night. That means what? So plants require exposure of light for flowering. Some plants require light to induce flowering. That means certain period of light should be required for the flowering in the plants. That period is called photoperiodism. Period of exposure. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಸ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಸಸ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಬೇಕು ಹೂವ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ. ಆ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಗೆ ನಾವು ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫೋಟೋ ಪೀರಿಯಾಡಿಸಮ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಲೈಟ್ ಬೇಕು ಅದರ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮೂರು ಗುಂಪು ಇದಾವೆ. ಲಾಂಗ್ ಡೇ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಡೇ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಈಗ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, long day plants andre what is meant by long day plants? They require exposure to light for a period exceeding as well as well defined critical period. One the critical period irtadu. What is the critical period andre ಏನು? What is meant by critical period? ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ, long day plants what I am telling you. Suppose 14 hour is the critical, so we can say long day plants we are discussing. So one critical period. What is the critical period? Critical period, suppose here I will write, suppose 14 days, 14 hours is a critical period. Some plants require less than 14 hours of light for flowering, or sorry here, not less than, more than 14 hours of light for flowering. So such plants are referred as long day plants. Which plants? Long day plants. That means they require exposure of light period extending well defined critical period. ಈಗ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, ಈ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಗೆ ಕ್ರಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಒಂದು 14 ತಾಸು ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಯಾವ ಸಸ್ಯಗೆ 14 ತಾಸಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ, 14 ಅವರ್ ಪೇಕ್ಷ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಫೋಟೋಸಿಂಥೆಸಿಸ್ ಗೆ ಲೈಟ್ ಬೇಕು, ಆ ಸಸ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಲಾಂಗ್ ಡೇ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಫೋಟೋಸಿಂಥೆಸಿಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕ್ರಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಒಂದು 14 ಅವರ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಆ 14 ಅವರ್ಸ್ ಪೇಕ್ಷ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಲೈಟ್ ಸಸ್ಯಗೆ ಹೂವ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾದಾಗ ಆ ಸಸ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಡೇ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ those plants which require more than 14 hours of light. 14 hours is a critical period of light we can consider. More than 14 hours of light if suppose plants will require for flowering, such plants are called long day plants. Okay. What is meant by short day plants? They require exposure to light for a period less than critical duration. That means 14 hours is the critical duration. Less than 14 hour. Light requirement for plant. For flowering process, suppose plant require less than critical duration of light, so such plants we can call as a short day plants. We can call short day plants. And what is meant by day neutral plants? That means they do not have any correlation between exposure of light, duration and induction of flowering. So that means they not depends on the light duration exposure. Any time flowering will be happens in that plant, this much of light will be required, this much of critical duration light, less than that or more than that. Such a condition is not required there. There is no any relation between the correlation between the light duration and flowering induction. Flowering induction is not depends on the light duration. Such plants are called day neutral plants. We can call them day neutral plants. See, these are the long day plants. Long day plants you have given. In the long day plants, flowering should be required. So above the critical period, if flowering happens in these plants, above the critical period, the flowering happens in these plants. That's why it is long day plants. And below the critical period, if flowering happens, so you remember that we can say short day plants. Short day plants. So here flowering happens below the critical period. Below the critical period. Okay. So this is what we can say plants are classified. Photoperiodism means depending on the light requirements for flowering, plants are classified into three types: long day, short day and day neutral plants. See, these are the long day plants. This is the long day plants. In that flowering happens here. Flowering happens above the critical period if flowering happens, and no flowering below the critical period. Long day plants, if flowering does not take place below the critical. See, this is a long day. These are this diagram 1, diagram 2, long day plants. Long day plants. Here no flowering below the critical period. Above the critical period, flowering is there. That means long day plants. These are the short day plants. Remember here, short day plants. Here, below the critical period, flowering is there. Above the critical period, no flowering is there. You can look in this manner, this diagram. Please concentrate here. Long day plants, short day plants. Long day plants, below critical period, no flowering. Above critical period, flowering. That means more light should be required. Below critical period, short day plants, flowers. But above critical period, no light, no flowering will be happens in this diagram. Okay. So here we have studied what is meant by photoperiodism. Please understand this concept. ಸಸ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೂವ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಲೈಟ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ತದ ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಗೆ. ಆ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫೋಟೋ ಪೀರಿಯಡಿಸಮ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಸ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಸೈಡ್ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಲಾಂಗ್ ಡೇ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಸ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕ್ರಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ನಾವು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ 14 ತಾಸು ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ, 14 ಅವರ್ ಕ್ರಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಆ 14 ಅವರ್ ಪೇಕ್ಷ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಲೈಟ್ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಸ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರ್ತದ ಹೂವ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. 14 hour ಬಿಲೋ ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಸ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಿಲೋ ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಬೌವ್ ದ 14 hour ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ತದ. ಈ ಸಸ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಡೇ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ, ಈಗ ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಈಗ ಲೈಟ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ 14 ಬಿಲೋ 14 ಇತ್ತು ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ತದ, ಅಬೌವ್ 14 ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಂತ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಸ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಲೈಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಜರ್ ಡ್ಯೂರೇಷನ್ ಮತ್ತು ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಏನು ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ಇರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಸಸ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಡೇ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ನೌ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ so which is the part in the plant which perceive the photoperiod? A site of perception of photoperiod is the leaves. ಎಲೆಗಳು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ ಅಂದ್ರ ಲೈಟ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ನ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತವೆ. Shoot apex modified into flowering apex, they cannot perceive the photoperiod. Remember, shoot apex never perceive the photoperiod. But what is the site of photoperiod is the leaves. Suppose light receiving organ in the plant, the leaves can receive the light, perceive the light. When leaves receives the light, in the leaves there is one hormone produced. What is that hormone called? Floragen. And that floragen hormone goes from leaf to the shoot apical meristem, and where shoot apical meristem responsible for flowering. Remember what is the mechanism of this photoperiodism? On the leaves, light will be fall. When light fall on the leaves, ಎಲೆ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ light ಬೀಳ್ತದ. Light ಬಿದ್ದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಎಲೆದಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಲಾರಿಜನ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತದ. ಆ ಫ್ಲಾರಿಜನ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ಏನಿದಲ್ಲ ಎಲೆದಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿಬಿಡ್ತದ, ಶೂಟ್ ಅಪಿಕಲ್ ಮೆರಿಸ್ಟೆಮ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿಬಿಡ್ತದ ಮತ್ತು ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡ್ತದ. This is the mechanism generally happening during what we can say the photoperiodism process. So what is that? It is hypothesized hormone. There is a hormone for flowering. This is now only I must say. What is hypothetical hormone? The hypothetical hormone is a florigen. Florigen is a hypothetical hormone which is responsible for flowering in the plant. So florigen generally produced when light is fall on the leaves. Florigen produced which is migrated to the shoot apex and there flowering happens. This hormone migrated from leaves to shoot apices to induce the flowering. This flower hormone which is migrated from leaves to which apex? Shoot apex for the flowering process. So remember which is the hormone? Yav hormone responsible is a hypothetical hormone responsible for flowering in the plants or photoperiodism process. What is the hypothetical hormone? Florigen hypothetical hormone. Initially produced in the leaves, from the leaves migrated towards the shoot apical meristem and there it induced the flowering process. So this is what we say the photoperiodism concept we have studied here. Photoperiodism concept. Even some of the things we have to learn about the photoperiodism that is given in the NCERT textbook. So we have to learn about some of the other points whatever we given in the NCERT textbook. Concentrate here. So here for flowering in the plants, it is now also responsible that duration of light as well as duration of dark is also very important for the flowering process. For the flowering process, light duration is also responsible, dark duration is also responsible. Equally importance for the flowering process. But also duration of dark having equal importance. So remember for flowering in the plants, not only duration of light and dark in combination, but see remember here for flowering in the plants, not only in combination of light and dark exposure, but also relative duration is very important. What is the meaning of this? In combination of light and dark light, duration is very important. How much dark hours, how much light hours. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬರೀ ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅವರ್ ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಅವರ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಬೇಕು, ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಬಹಳ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ದಿಸ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಟು ದ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೇ ಅಂಡ್ ನೈಟ್. ಡೇ ಮತ್ತು ನೈಟ್ಗೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಏನು ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತದ, ಡೇ ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಮತ್ತು ಲೈಟ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ಗೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಫೋಟೋಪೀರಿಯಾಡಿಸಮ್. ಸೊ ಫೋಟೋಪೀರಿಯಾಡಿಸಮ್ ಆಗೋ ಮುಂದೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತದ, remember it is interesting to note that shoot apex is modified into flowering apexes. This is the shoot apex. See, shoot apex modified into flowering apex. Shoot apex modified into what apex? Flowering apex. Flowering apex. This is will undergo modification. This shoot apex will undergo modification and forming flowering apices prior to flowering. Before flowering, this shoot apex, remember, shoot apex is modified into flowering apex prior to flowering. The site of perception of light and dark duration are the leaves. Remember what I said. Dark and light period is received by what? Leaves. And in the leaves, there is a hypothetical hormone is produced. What is the hypothetical hormone is produced in the leaves? Florigen. And florigen is migrated from the leaves to which apex? Shoot apex. And then shoot apex is modified into flowering apex and flower is produced. This is generally happen in the process called as photoperiodism process. Not only the light is responsible, dark period is also having equal importance for the flowering in the plants. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೂವ ಸಸ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ತಯಾರಾಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಲೈಟ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಬಹಳ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಲೈಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ಕಾಂಬಿನೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಲೈಟ್ ದ ಮತ್ತು ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ದ ಡ್ಯೂರೇಷನ್ ಬಹಳ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಈಗ ಲೈಟ್ ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಆರ್ಗನ್ಗಳು ಏನಿದಾವೆ ಸಸ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ, ಲೈಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ನ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಆರ್ಗನ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ್ದಾವ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲೀವ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಎಲೆದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಹೈಪೋಥೆಟಿಕಲ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಫ್ಲೋರಿಜನ್ ಅಂತ. ಆ ಫ್ಲೋರಿಜನ್ ಎಲೆಯಿಂದ ಶೂಟ್ ಅಪೆಕ್ಸ್ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಶೂಟ್ ಅಪೆಕ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಿಂದ ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಅಪೆಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಅಪೆಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೂವು ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ನೋಡ್ರಿ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಈಗ ಈ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಇದೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಲೈಟ್, ಲಾಂಗ್ ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಇದೆ. ಇಂಥ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಬೇಕು, ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬೇಕು, ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಡೇ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಎರಡನೇ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಬೇಕು, 8 hours ಆಫ್ ಲೋ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಲೈಟ್ ಬೇಕು, ಆಮೇಲೆ 8 hours ಆಫ್ ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಲೈಟ್ ಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತು ಇದು ಇಂಥ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ರಿಮೇನ್ಸ್ ವೆಜಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಇಂಥ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರ್ತದೆ ಅಂದ್ರದ ವೆಜಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಸ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಲೈಟ್, ಲಾಂಗ್ ಡಾರ್ಕ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್, short light, long dark period and flash of light, middle flash of light is also provided. That also there is a no flowering, remain vegetative case. See, these diagrams are what indicating. Remember, if you provide short, first diagram, A diagram we can give it. Short light if you provide it, A diagram, if you provide short light to the plant and long dark period, the flowering happens in the plant. And if you provide the short light, low intensity light and 8 hours dark period, there is no flowering, remain vegetative. Short light you provide, long dark, in between that flash of light will be provided, again it is remain vegetative, no flowering is there. That means light and dark period are equally important for the flowering in the plants. Both we have to give continuous manner, not interrupted manner. So for flowering in the plants, remember. Hope student you understood what is the photoperiodism concept. This diagram A, diagram B, diagram C, they are telling the importance of flowering. Short day plants is suppressed by low intensity as well as single light of flash. Flowering is suppressed in short day plants. So remember, these are the diagrams showing short day plants. Short day plants. Initially, A diagram is showing if you provide short light and long dark, flowering happens. But if you provide short light, short low intensity light, and short dark period, then no flowering, vegetative phase. Short light, dark period, in between flash of light, if you provide, remain vegetative, no flowering. That means we have to give short light and continuous dark period. So dark period is very, very important for the flowering in the plants. So the flowering is suppressed in the short day plants. If you provide proper light and proper dark period, A diagram is a proper light as well as proper dark period. That's why flowering happens. But B diagram and C diagram, proper light and dark period is not there. That's why flowering is affected between B and C diagram. Okay, so this is what the importance of light and dark period for the process called as photoperiodism. Okay, they ask the question to you, which is the part for receiving photoperiodism in the plants? Leaves are the parts where photoperiodism perception will be happens, perseverance should be happens, or light receiving organ is the leaves, and from the leaves there is hypothetical hormone produced. What is the hypothetical hormone produced in the leaf? That is a phloriston, and the phloriston which is migrated towards the shoot apex, and there the flowering will be happens. Shoot apex converted into flowering apex, like that. So hope student you understood what is meant by photoperiodism concept. Photoperiodism. So we have studied about in this photoperiodism concept. So for flowering the plants required exposure of light, and exposure of light, based on that they are classified into three types: long day, short day and day neutral plants. And this diagram also I have given. This is a diagram which is showing long day plants, and B diagram which is showing the short day plants, and this is a C diagram which is a day neutral plants which is showing. Okay. Now, not only the dark period, short period, light period, but a dark period is also very important role it will play in the flowering process. How flowering is disturbed when we are not providing proper light and proper dark period in B and C diagram in short day plants we have studied here. Okay. Now what is meant by vernalization? Vernalization means what? One more point I wanted to add in photoperiodism, that is in long day plants, which is the phytochrome is the pigment plays a very important role. Which pigment? Phytochrome pigment plays a very important role in long day, short day and day neutral plants. And phytochrome pigment is having two forms: phytochrome red and phytochrome far red. Two forms are there: phytochrome red and phytochrome far red. So like that. So these plays a very important role during flowering process. So remember, phytochrome are the pigments which are playing very important role during the pigments that is flowering in the plants. So I will tell you here what is the phytochrome role in during flowering process. So in short, long day plants, phytochrome red responsible for flowering. Phytochrome red is responsible for flowering in long day plants, but in short day plants, phytochrome far red is responsible for flowering in the short day plants. So phytochrome red is responsible for flowering in the long day plants, and phytochrome far red responsible for flowering in short day plants. Remember, these phytochromes are the plant pigments. In long day plants, which is the phytochrome? Phytochrome red responsible for flowering, and in short day plants, phytochrome far red responsible for flowering in the short day plants. So we have studied about what is meant by photoperiodism. So there is one concept what we can say, the vernalization means what? It is a phenomenon in which some plants depend quantitatively and qualitatively on exposure to low temperature for flowering. Remember, for flowering in the plants, certain plants require exposure of low temperature. Without low temperature, no flowering happens qualitatively and quantitatively in that plant. So that phenomenon is called vernalization process. Without low temperature, no flowering in such plants. What is the advantage of this? It prevents the precocious reproductive development in the late growing season and enable the plant to have sufficient time to reach the maturity. What is the meaning of this? Vernalization is such a concept, it will help the plant to attain maximum maturity before flowering. Maturity in the sense, in that plant, root system properly develop, leaf develop, and before flowering, all the leaves, all the roots will develop properly. Roots develop, stem develop, leaf develop, leaves develop. So when plants attain proper maturity, after that flowering happens. After that, after attaining maturity, then flowering happens. This is because of vernalization. Vernalization advantage this one. It helps the plant to develop properly, to attain maturity properly. It will get a sufficient time to attain, to form the stem, leaves, roots and all, and then it will do the flowering process. This will happen for attaining a proper maturity, prior flowering. Flowering ಆಗೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಸಸ್ಯ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಆಗಿ ಮ್ಯಾಚೂರ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಸ್ವಚ್ಛ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಎಲೆ ಕಾಂಡ ಬೇರ ಇವು ಚಲೋ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆ ಆಗ್ತವೆ. ಆ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲ್ ಇರುವಂತ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಯಾವುದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವರ್ನಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ. ಅದು ಹೇಗೂ ನಾವು ನೋಡೋಣ. ಸಸ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ, ಎಲೆ ಕಾಂಡ ಬೇರೆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಆಗಿ ಮ್ಯಾಚೂರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದರ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೂವು ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಇದು ಎದರಿಂದ ಫಾಯ್ದೆ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವರ್ನಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸಸ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಮ್ಯಾಚುರಿಟಿಗೆ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ. ಈಗ ನಾವು ವರ್ನಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದೀವಿ, ಸಸ್ಯಗೆ ಹೂವು ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಲೋ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬೇಕು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ವರ್ನಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಈಗ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ನಿಸರ್ಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ವೆರೈಟಿ ಇದಾವೆ, ವೀಟ್, ಬಾರ್ಲಿ, ರಾಯ್, ಇಂಥ ಫುಡ್ ವೆರೈಟೀಸ್ ಇದಾವೆ. ಅವು ನಾವು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವರ್ನಲೈಸೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಈಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗುರ್ತದ ಸೀಸನ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಇದಾವ ಅಂತ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗುರ್ತದ. ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ದಿ 4 seasons in the nature? We have studied about that. What are the different seasons? 4 seasons we have studied, and that seasons, according to that, we have to study these the concept called vernalization concept, right? So we know that the seasons are, 4 seasons are there. Spring, after that spring, which is the season is coming, summer. So after the summer, you know that the season is coming. What is the name? The autumn, and what is the another season is called? Winter season. Winter season. So remember these seasons: spring, summer, autumn, winter season. We have to understand the concept based on these seasons only. There are the varieties of wheat. There are 2 varieties of wheat: spring varieties and winter varieties. So we have to understand this spring variety means what. Remember, we are learning about vernalization. Vernalization. For flowering, plants needs to expose a period of low temperature. Okay. So there is the example which are vernalized generally observed. Spring variety. Suppose this is a spring variety. Do you remember the seasons? What are the seasons? What I said? Now only I have discussed about that. The seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Sorry, vernalization we are learning, and I have written now only the for flowering. Plants needs exposure of period of low temperature. Okay. Now you know that spring. We know that seasons. What we are telling about the different seasons. That seasons are spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Okay, these are the 4 seasons. You know, there are some wheat varieties which are called spring variety. If you grow this spring variety in spring season, this plant will grow, this plant wheat variety will grow in the spring season, and at the end of the growing season, this wheat variety will produce flower. Will produce what? Flower. Such variety is called annual, because for flowering such a variety required only one season for the flowering, and plant will die in that one season only, the flower and fruit producing. Such a spring variety, remember. So what is happening here? The spring variety normally planted in spring, they are planted in the spring season only, come to flower and produce grain before the end of the growing season. That means what? See, in this season only this plant is planted. The plant seed is sown here in this season, in the spring season, and the end of the what we can say, before the end of the growing season, ಅಂದ್ರೆ growing season end ಆಗೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಅಸಸ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಏನು ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ grain production ಆಗ್ತದೆ, wheat grain production ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Such plants are called annual plants, or we can say spring season plants or spring variety. Remember, spring variety seed plants grown into the spring season only. It will produce the plant in the before end of the season, before end of the growing season. It will produce flower and produces a grain. Such plants are spring variety plants or annual plants, we can say. What is a biennial plants, or what is we can say the winter variety? Suppose winter variety, if you planted into the if you plant into the spring season, what will happen? Winter variety, if you plant into the spring season, what will happen? If you plant it, it fails to produce flower as well as grain, or to produce grain. That means if you take the winter variety and grow into the spring variety, it never produce a flower. That means what? In winter variety required exposure of low temperature for the flowering. This winter variety never germinate into the, or never produce flower into the spring season. Remember. So then when we have to plant the winter variety, we have to plant the winter variety which is also called biennial plant. We have to plant this winter variety. When we have to plant it, we have to plant it in autumn. In autumn we have to plant it. In autumn it is planted. Okay, and what will happen? In autumn it is planted, they germinate, and over winter come out as a small seedling. After autumn, what is the season? Winter. See, this sown means planted, we can say planted. Biennial wheat variety planted in autumn. After that, in winter season, from this seed there is a what is coming? Seedling is coming. And what is happening after that again? Which season is coming? Spring is coming. In the spring, this seedling will grow into the plant. Seedling will grow into the plant. And in the summer, after spring, again you know that summer, in the summer to this spring, in the spring there is a proper growth happens, and then in the summer there is a flowering and productivity happens. Flowering happens, and remember, flowering happens and grains are produced. It means what? Please concentrate here. Okay, concentrate here. So, winter variety we have planted into the spring. When winter variety we planted into the spring, it fails to produce the flour and wheat grain. Then we have planted that winter variety or seed into the autumn season. In the autumn season, this is autumn season. And in the winter, from that seed, from planted seed, from the seed, sown seed, seedling is coming. In the spring, growth of the seedling happens into the plant, and in the summer, flower produced and plant is harvested in the summer season. That means what we have understood in this. In the autumn, when we have planted this, when we have sown the seed, and autumn season ದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಬೀಜ ಬಿತ್ತಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ವಿಂಟರ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಬೀಜದಿಂದ ಹೊಸ ಸೀಡ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಬರ್ತದ, ಸಸ್ಯ ಬರ್ತದ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಬೀಜ ಜರ್ಮಿನೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ವಿಂಟರ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಿಂಟರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಜರ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಬೀಜ, ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಜರ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಗ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಸಸ್ಯದ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆ ಆಗ್ತದ, ಮತ್ತು ಸಮರ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೂವ ಬರ್ತವೆ. ಅಂದ್ರ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ನಡಕ್ ಸೀಸನ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ, ವಿಂಟರ್ ಸೀಸನ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಸಸ್ಯದ ಬೀಜಗೆ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಸೀಡ್ಲಿಂಗ್ಗೆ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಸಮರ್ ಸೀಸನ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೂವ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತದ. ಈ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಆಗೋ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವರ್ನಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಟ್ ಈಗ ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸೀಸನ್ ತಗೋತ್ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಈ ವಿಂಟರ್ ವೆರೈಟಿ 2 ಸೀಸನ್ ತಗೋತದ್ರಿ. ಜನರಲಿ ನಾವು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಈ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಸೀಸನ್ ತಗೋತದ. ಆಟಮನ್, ವಿಂಟರ್, ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಗ್, ಸಮ್ಮರ್, ಮಿಡ್ ಸಮ್ಮರ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾರ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ 2 ಸೀಸನ್ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ತಗೋತದ. ಅದು ವಿಂಟರ್ 1 ತಗೋತದ, ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಗ್ 1 ತಗೋತದ. ಆಟಮನ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಗೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟೆಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ವಿಂಟರ್ ಫುಲ್ ತಗೋತದ, ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಸೀಸನ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ತಗೋತದ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಿಡ್ ಸಮ್ಮರ್ ದಾಗ ಅದನ್ನ ಆ ಸಸ್ಯದ ಬೆಳೆಗಳನ್ನ ತೆಗಿತಾರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಸೀಸನ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ತಗೋತದ. ಇದು ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಸೀಸನ್ ತಗೋದ? ವಿಂಟರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಬಯನಿಯಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. 2 ಸೀಸನ್ ಬೇಕು ಹೂವಾ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬೇಕು ಹೂವಾ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಈ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೂವಾ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಂಗೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೆನ್ಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಇವು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಎದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾವ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ವರ್ನಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಕಂಡು ಬರ್ತವೆ. ವರ್ನಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ? ಲೋ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಗೆ. ಲೋ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ನಿಸರ್ಗದಲ್ಲಿನೂ ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ತದೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ವೆರೈಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಸಸ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಮತ್ತ ಈಗ ನಾವು ನೈಸರ್ಗಿಕವಾಗಿ ಆರ್ಟಿಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಸಸ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಲೋ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಈ ಗೋಧೆಯಲ್ಲಿ 2 ವೆರೈಟಿ ಇದಾವ್ರಿ, ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಗ್ ವೆರೈಟಿ ಮತ್ತು ವಿಂಟರ್ ವೆರೈಟಿ ಅಂತ. ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಗ್ ವೆರೈಟಿ ಏನಿದಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಸೀಸನ್ ದಾಗ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಬೀಜ ಬಿತ್ತಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಸೀಸನ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆನೇ ಅದರ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಸಸ್ಯದ ಗ್ರೇನ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ವಿಂಟರ್ ವೆರೈಟಿನ ನೀವು ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಗ್ ದಾಗ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆ ಮಾಡಿರ ತಿಳ್ಕೊರಿ, ಇದು ಹೂವಾನ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಮತ್ತು ಬೀಜನೂ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ವಿಂಟರ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಗ್ರೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ವಿಂಟರ್ ವೆರೈಟಿನ ನಾವು ಆಟಮನ್ ದಾಗ ಗ್ರೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಆಟಮನ್ ಎಂಡ್ಗೆ ಗ್ರೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಫುಲ್ ವಿಂಟರ್ ದಾಗ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ ಅದರ ಬೀಜ ಬಿತ್ತಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಆಟಮನ್ ಸೀಸನ್ ದಾಗ. ವಿಂಟರ್ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಸೀಸನ್ ತಗೊಂಡ ಅದರಿಂದ ಹೊಸ ಸಸ್ಯ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೀಡ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಬರ್ತದ ಆ ಬೀಜದಿಂದ. ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಸೀಸನ್ ದಾಗ ಸಸ್ಯದ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆ ಆಗ್ತೈತಿ, ಎಲೆಗಳು, ಕಾಂಡಗಳು, ಬೇರುಗಳು ಬರ್ತವೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಿಡ್ ಸಮ್ಮರ್ ದಾಗ ಅದರ ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಸಸ್ಯದ ನಾವು ಗ್ರೇನ್ಗಳನ್ನ, ಫ್ಲವರ್ದಿಂದ ಗ್ರೇನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರ ಆ ಸೀಡ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಹಾರ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಸಸ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ಬೆಳೆನ ಹಾರ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪೂರ್ತಿ 2 ಸೀಸನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ತಗೋತದ, ವಿಂಟರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಗ್ ವೆರೈಟಿ. ಇಂಥ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಬೈನಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್. ಬೈನಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಸೀಸನ್ ವಿಂಟರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಗ್ ಬೇಕು ಹೂವಾ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ವಿಂಟರ್ ಆಟಮಂದಾಗ ಸಸ್ಯನ ನಾವು ಬೆಳೆಸಿದೀವಿ, ಆಟಮಂದಾಗ ಬೀಜ ಬಿತ್ತಿದೀವಿ, ವಿಂಟರ್ ದ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಫ್ಲವರಿಂಗ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವರ್ನಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೂವಾ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಈ ಸಮರ್ದಾಗ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ನಾವು ಈ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವರ್ನಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನಾವು ವರ್ನಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಯಾವ್ದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ನೋಡ್ರಿ ವರ್ನಲೈಸೇಷನ್ಗೆ. ಬೈನಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್. ವರ್ನಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಯಾವ್ದಂದ್ರೆ ಬೈನಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇದಾವಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಬೈನಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮೋನೋಕಾರ್ಪಿಕ್ ಇರ್ತವೆ. Biennial plants are how? Monocarpic. Monocarpic in the sense they produce once a flower in their lifespan, once flower and fruit. Produce once flower and fruit in lifespan and plant die. So biennial plants are monocarpic plants. Biennial plants are how? Monocarpic. Produce once flower and fruit in lifespan and die. Okay. So biennial plants generally monocarpic. Normally flower and die in the second season. Their biennial plants means what? They require 2 seasons. What I am telling you. Which are the 2 seasons that we can learn here? Say biennial plants we can say. The 2 seasons, what we can say, the spring season, autumn, winter season to complete the life. Now concentrate. When we sow the seed into the spring, what will happen? In the spring, the plant maturity properly happens. Maturity happens means what? Leaves formation, root formation happens in the spring season. Okay. And remember, in the spring season, this plant will attain maximum maturity. We can, instead of spring, we can say it is a autumn season. Okay, maximum maturity it will attain. In the winter, it will getting the cold treatment. It is getting the cold treatment in the winter season, and what will produce here? Flower will produce in the winter season. So that means how many seasons it is taking? 2 seasons it is taking for the flowering. That's why these plants are called biennial plants. If you planted or sown this seed into the autumn season, it attains the proper maturity. And in winter it is having a flowering. So period is very long for the flowering. Now this biennial plant we have to make it annual. How we have to make it this biennial plant annual? By the concept called as vernalization. How biennial plant we can make it annual? You know that biennial plants require 2 seasons. If you planted autumn season, it will attain leaves, root system, everything will form in the autumn season. And winter season, it is having a flowering. That means it, for completion of a life cycle, how many seasons it is taking? 2 seasons. 2 seasons it is taking. 2 seasons. That's why it is a biennial plant. So we have to make it this biennial plant into annual. How it is possible? By vernalization process. That means how? That we can see now here. So biennial plants make it annual. How? Suppose we have planted the plant in autumn season. In autumn season, we have sown this seed and in the autumn season only, we have to provide low temperature to this. When we expose this plant to the low temperature, in the autumn season only, to this plant, we are having a flower. We are having what? Flower. So this is a biennial plant, we have made it annual. Biennial plant, we have made it annual. By what process we have made it? Vernalization process, by providing low temperature. So low temperature is provided to two parts in the plants. Parts of a plant receive low temperature. Which are the parts of the plant which receive the low temperature? That is nothing but shoot, apical, meristem, and even seed also receives the low temperature. To the plant we can provide the low temperature, or to the seed also we can provide the low temperature. Then if we provide it low temperature, the flowering happens in one season. So biennial plant we can make it an annual plant by giving a low temperature, that is nothing but a cold treatment process. Cold treatment process. If we provide cold treatment, we make biennial plant into annual artificially, and we make the 1-2 season plant grow into the 1 season. 2 season plants we can make it into the 1 season. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎರಡು ಸೀಸನ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳೆಯುವಂಥ ಸಸ್ಯ ನಾವು ಒಂದೇ ಸೀಸನ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಹೂವು ಮತ್ತು ಹಣ್ಣು ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಸಸ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಯನಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ನ ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಆನ್ಯುವಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಯಾವ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ? ವರ್ನಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಬಯನಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಇಂಟರ್ನಲಿ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಯನಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ವರ್ನ್ಯಾಲಿನ್ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ತಯಾರಾಗ್ತದೆ. ವರ್ನ್ಯಾಲಿನ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ತಯಾರಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಆ ವರ್ನ್ಯಾಲಿನ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫ್ಲೋರಿಜನ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನೀವು ಬಯೋನಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ವರ್ನ್ಯಾಲಿನ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ತಯಾರಾಗ್ತೈತಿ. ವರ್ನ್ಯಾಲಿನ್ ಫ್ಲೋರಿಜನ್ ದಾಗ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಫ್ಲೋರಿಜನ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೈತಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ ಸಸ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ. ಈ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಜನರಲಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇದು ಬಯನಿಯಲ್ ನ ನಾವು ಆನ್ಯುವಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಲೋ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಯನಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ನ ಒಂದೇ ಸೀಸನ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೂವು ಮತ್ತ ಗ್ರೇನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ನಾವು ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ನ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಆ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವರ್ನಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾವ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್? ವರ್ನಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Okay, so this is what the concept called as vernalization. Okay, now the next concept is seed dormancy. Seed dormancy. What is meant by seed dormancy? Certain seeds, even external conditions, see, certain seeds, even external condition are favorable external conditions are favorable external conditions are favorable. Certain seeds, even external conditions are favorable, are failed to germinate. Are failed to germinate means what? They never produce new plant. Fail to germinate. Such seeds undergoes period of dormancy, period of rest, period of dormancy. That means what? Even light is available, even temperature is available, even everything is available properly. But even those seeds are failed to germinate, that external factors are good, but due to some endogenous factors, seed become dormant. Seed become dormant because some endogenous factors responsible for seed dormancy, not in exogenous factors or not external factors. Remember here, some internal factors which keeps the seed under the dormancy period. Which are the some internal factors of the seeds? Internal factors or endogenous factors. Which are those endogenous factors? I will write here. Factor number 1, impermeable and hard seed coat. Impermeable and hard seed coat. This is the first factor. Second factor, presence of chemicals like ABA, abscisic acid hormone, that is responsible for seed dormancy. Para-ascorbic acid, that is also responsible for seed dormancy. And immature embryos in the seeds. These all are endogenous or internal factors which makes the seed dormant or seed undergo resting period or seed never germinate because of these factors. What is these factors? I have said you, these factors responsible for causing seed dormancy. Hard seed coat, around the seed there is a hard seed coat is present. And impermeable means never allowed to enter the water inside. Impermeable seed coat is hard as well as it is impermeable to water. It means it is stops water entry, stops entry water, okay, inside the seed. Hard seed coat. Chemical substance like ABA, para-ascorbic acid, immature embryos, these all are the reasons for the seed dormancy. Remember, even external temperature, light, all are favorable. Some internal regions in the seed, some internal factors in the seed, those are responsible for seed dormancy. Then how to overcome the seed dormancy? How to break the seed dormancy? That we have to study. Breaking of seed dormancy. How seed dormancy is going to be broken? There are various methods by that seed dormancy is going to be broken. Number 1, little bit constant, so I will take a time. Okay, seed dormancy by natural method. By natural method we can break it. By natural method. How naturally we can break the seed dormancy? Number 1, action of sunlight. Action of sunlight. By that seed dormancy will get break. Number 2, action of heat. Action of heat. By giving heat treatment, seed dormancy can also be broken. Number 3, by microbial action. Some microorganism action, also seed dormancy is going to be broken. So these are called a natural method of breaking of seed dormancy. Second one, artificial seed dormancy breaking. How artificially seed dormancy is going to be broken. So here, what is that? First one is scarification. Scarification. In NCERT they have given, there is a line in the page number 253, last point. Seed coat barrier in some seeds are broken by mechanical abrasions like knives and sandpaper or vigorous shaking. That is the process called scarification. That means a seed coat is going to be removed by knives or sharp blades or by sandpaper or by vigorous shaking process. When you take the seed into the container, we have to shake that seed so the hard seed coat will get removed. How hard seed coat? Hard seed coat removal. Hard seed coat removal. That process is called scarification. How it is removed? By knives or vigorous shaking process. By that we can remove the seed coat. Seed coat. Okay, that phenomena is called scarification. When we remove the hard seed coat, seed dormancy will get broken. Because hard seed coat is one of the reason for the seed dormancy. So how hard seed coat is going to be removed? By knives or by vigorous shaking process or by mechanical abrasions. Mechanical abrasions. ಅಥವಾ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಹಾರ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟೋನ್ ಥರ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡ ಕಲ್ಲು ಥರ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಹಾರ್ಡ್ ಡಿವೈಸಸ್ನ ತಗೊಂಡ ಸೀಡ್ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ರಬ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಆ ಥರದ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ ಕೋಟ್ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹಾರ್ಡ್, ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಹಳ್ಳಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾವು ಬೀಜದ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಈ ಥರ ರಬ್ಬಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ಹಾರ್ಡ್ ಸೀಡ್ ಕೋಟ್ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಆ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾರಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸೀಡ್ ಡಾರ್ಮನ್ಸಿ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಬ್ರೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ನೋಡೋಣ ಯಾವ್ದು ಅಂತ. Second method of seed dormancy breaking process is stratification. What is meant by stratification? Exposure to seed, exposure of seed to low temperature. Then seed dormancy will get breaks. That is the process called stratification. Exposure of seed to the low temperature, seed dormancy breaks. Seed dormancy, what happens? Breaks. Okay, that is the second method. What is the third method? Is water and some chemical application. Some chemical applications and water also responsible for breaking seed dormancy. If you soak seeds in water, it softs the seed coat. It soft the seed coat, and dormancy will get break. Okay, and by using certain chemicals called gibberellinic acid (Ga) used to break seed dormancy. Gibberellinic acid used to break what? Seed dormancy. Soak seeds in water, it softs the seed coat. So that is also responsible. These all are the different methods by that we can break the seed dormancy process. Okay. Chilling treatment process, gibberellinic acid, even nitrates, some nitrate chemicals if you apply, nitrate chemicals if you apply, gibberel, that what we can say about seed dormancy will get break. Changing environmental condition, light, temperature, other methods. Environment condition changing also, like light, temperature changing, so also breaks the seed dormancy. These are the different methods, what we can say, seed dormancy breaking method. Stratification means also called as chilling treatment or cold treatment, chilling treatment to the seeds. Then seed dormancy will get breaks. Overnight, if you soak the seeds, the hard seed coat will get soft, putting into the water. That is also breaking of seed dormancy process. Gibberellic acid nitrate chemical also breaks the seed dormancy process. And if you change the environment like light, temperature, if you change it to the seed, so also seed dormancy will get breaks. So these are the different methods to break the seed dormancy. Even though certain environmental factors are favorable, the seed, due to some internal factor, seed fails to germinate. That phenomena is called seed dormancy. And how seed dormancy is broken, that different methods of breaking of seed dormancy we have studied here. I think this topic is going to be completed here. Hope student you have understood all the things about this. If any doubt you can ask me. Okay, or any doubt you can in comment box, you can comment it, or have a doubt you can call at me, so I can clarify your doubt. Thank you.